Wide establishing shot of Willow Creek small town in autumn. Have you ever felt that spark of a dream inside you, but then let laziness snuff it out? What if I told you that one man's simple choice between action and excuses changed his entire life forever? Stick with me, because this story might just be the wake-up call you need to shape your own destiny. Back view of Tom walking into frame on a quiet dirt path beside the river. Let me take you back to a small town called Willow Creek, where life moved slow and steady, like the river that ran through it. Our story is about a guy named Tom. Tom was in his early 20s, with a head full of big ideas. He dreamed of owning his own business one day, a cozy little coffee shop where people could gather, laugh, and share stories. He pictured the sign above the door, Tom's Brew Haven. Sounds nice, right? But Tom had a problem. He was lazy. Not the kind of lazy where you take a well-deserved rest after a hard day's work. No, Tom's laziness was like a heavy blanket he pulled over himself every morning. Close-up of Tom's face, looking into a mirror in his dimly lit bedroom. You see, Tom lived with his parents in a modest house on the edge of town. His dad worked at the local mill, coming home with calloused hands and a tired smile. His mom was a teacher, always bustling around with lesson plans and grading papers. They loved Tom dearly and wanted the best for him. Son, his dad would say over dinner, dreams are great, but they don't build themselves. You gotta put in the work. Tom would nod, mumble something about starting tomorrow, and then head to his room to scroll through his phone or binge-watch shows until the wee hours. Tom sitting alone on a wooden bench by the river. Mornings were the worst. Tom's alarm would buzz at 7 a.m., but he'd hit snooze 5 times, telling himself, just 5 more minutes. By the time he rolled out of bed, it was noon. He'd grab a quick breakfast, lunch, really, and think about job applications or business plans. But then a friend would text about hanging out, or he'd get lost in video games. I'll do it later, he'd say. There's plenty of time. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Tom had a stack of unread books on entrepreneurship gathering dust on his shelf. He had ideas scribbled in a notebook, but they stayed there, unfinished and forgotten. Symbolic close-up of a dusty notebook open on a desk. Now, don't get me wrong. Tom wasn't a bad guy. He was kind-hearted, always helping neighbors with small favors when it suited him. But deep down, he knew something was off. He'd look in the mirror sometimes and see a flicker of disappointment in his own eyes. Why can't I just get started? He'd whisper to himself. But laziness had a tight grip. It whispered back, relax, tomorrow's another day. Tom lying in bed, heavy blanket pulled over him. Things started to shift when Tom met Sarah. She was a barista at the town's only diner, full of energy and ambition. Sarah was saving up to go to college, working double shifts while taking online courses in the evenings. They met one lazy afternoon when Tom wandered in for a late coffee. She smiled at him, her eyes bright with that spark of someone chasing their goals. What can I get you? She asked. They chatted, and before long, Tom found himself going back day after day, not just for the coffee, but for her. Emotional turning point. Tom sitting alone in his dark bedroom at night. Sarah saw potential in Tom. You talk about that coffee shop dream all the time, she'd say, leaning on the counter during quiet moments. Why don't you make it happen? Start small, maybe research locations or talk to suppliers. Tom would grin and promise he would. For a while, it seemed like he might. He even printed out some business plan templates. But old habits die hard. One evening, Sarah invited him to join her study group. It'll be fun, she said. We can motivate each other. Tom agreed, but when the time came, he texted her, feeling tired today. Rain check. She replied with a simple okay, but he could sense the disappointment. As time went on, Tom's laziness began to create cracks in his life. His parents started hinting that it was time for him to move out or at least contribute more. We can't support you forever, Tom, his mom said gently one night. Life waits for no one. He brushed it off, but it stung. Then came the job fair in town, a perfect chance to network for his dream shop. Flyers were everywhere, promising connections with local entrepreneurs. Tom marked it on his calendar and slept through it. When he woke up, it was over. He felt a pang of regret, but shrugged it off with, "There'll be another one." But the real trouble brewed with Sarah. She was patient at first, encouraging him softly. "Tom, I believe in you," she'd say. "But belief alone isn't enough. You have to act." One rainy evening, they sat in the park under shelter, watching the drops patter on the leaves. Sarah opened up about her own struggles, how she'd lost her part-time job last year and had to hustle harder than ever. "It was tough," she admitted, her voice steady. "But I didn't give up. I found another gig and kept going. That's how you build your future." Tom listened, nodding, but inside, he felt a twinge of shame. He promised her, and himself, that he'd change. "Starting tomorrow, I'm all in," he said. Tomorrow came, and so did excuses. A week later, Sarah had enough. They met at the diner after her shift. "Tom," she said, her eyes sad but firm, "I care about you, but I can't keep waiting for you to catch up. You're full of potential, but you're wasting it. I need someone who's moving forward, not standing still." Her words hit him like a cold wave. He tried to explain, to promise again, but she shook her head. "Actions, Tom. Not words." She walked away, leaving him alone with his half-empty coffee cup. Hopeful shift. Tom standing at dawn by the river. That night was Tom's breaking point. He sat in his room, staring at the ceiling, replaying every missed opportunity in his mind. The job fair he slept through. The business plans gathering dust. Sarah's disappointed face. Tears welled up as he thought about his parents' quiet worries. "What am I doing?" he whispered into the darkness. "If I keep this up, I'll end up with nothing but regrets." It was the climax of his inner storm, the moment where laziness clashed with the raw truth of his wasted potential. He felt a deep, aching emptiness, like he'd been sleepwalking through life while everyone else ran ahead. But in that pain, something shifted. The next morning, Tom didn't hit snooze. He got up at dawn, made his bed, and sat down with that notebook. No more excuses. He started small, researching local business loans online, jotting down ideas for his coffee shop menu. It wasn't easy, his mind wandered, his body craved the old comfort of doing nothing. But he pushed through. One step at a time, he told himself. Tom smiling softly with new energy, standing outside a small rundown building. Days turned into weeks of action. Tom got a part-time job at a grocery store to save money. He enrolled in a free online course on small business management. He even reached out to a mentor in town, an old shop owner who'd built his empire from scratch. "I want to learn," Tom said humbly. The man nodded, seeing the fire in his eyes. Sarah noticed the change too. She saw him hustling, showing up early, following through. Slowly, they reconnected, not as before, but with mutual respect. Final resolution. Tom standing proudly in front of his finished coffee shop. Months later, Tom's hard work paid off. He secured a small loan, found a rundown spot in town, and with help from friends and family, turned it into Tom's brew haven. The opening day was magical, neighbors lined up, the aroma of fresh coffee filling the air. Sarah was there, smiling proudly. "You did it," she said. Tom hugged her, whispering, "Because I finally acted." Abstract symbolic shot, an hourglass with sand flowing. Friends, Tom's story isn't just about a coffee shop. It's a reminder that your actions shape your destiny. Laziness might feel comfortable in the moment, but it steals your future one day at a time. Symbolic path leading to a bright horizon. Think about it. What dream have you been putting off? What small step could you take right now? Don't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow might never come. Start today, even if it's messy or hard. Because when you choose action over excuses, you build a life worth living. You create hope, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. Remember, destiny isn't handed to you. It's forged by your hands. So, get up, get moving, and watch how your world changes. If Tom could do it, so can you.